Well, hi there. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to talk about podcasts, and I get a lot of questions about podcasts as we are moving through this process of more and more people experimenting with online work who possibly hadn't been as active online. A podcast can sound like a viable alternative, and in some cases it really is. I like podcasts. I'm not against them. But as a video professional and as someone who works with midlife achievers who are looking at different ways to monetize their midlife brilliance through work with clients, it's a more high touch work, like you're helping transform something about their life or their business. Hands down, I prefer video. But here's the thing, you don't have to give up on your dream of podcasting. You can have your cake and eat it too. And what do I mean by that? So there is a success mentor online. His name is Darren Hardy. Maybe you're familiar with him. But if you're not, check out Darren Daily. And he has done a very smart thing. He creates videos that are distributed daily. But then they take the audio from some of those videos and also from some of his public speaking, and they strip out the audio and they create a podcast from that. And that's called Darren Daily on Demand, I think. But my point is, if you do video, you already have the podcast baked in if you want to produce it later. It just becomes a production exercise at that point in terms of stripping out the audio and creating a podcast out of it. You've already created the content, and it's a fabulous way to multi-purpose the video content that you created, take the audio, it becomes its own piece of content, then you have another piece of content that you can distribute. You don't have that option if you just solely podcast and don't do any video. The second number two, is that with podcasts, you are rarely able to achieve the same level of connection that you can through a video. Just right now, we're not talking about anything super deep right at this moment, but how would you feel if you were just hearing me talk about this versus seeing me talk to you about it in person, as close to in person as we can get? It's a completely different connection. And for the types of, if you're watching this, and probably the types of people that I work with are, you're engaging, your clients engage with you around issues that are personal to them in their business and their life, and that kind of work really benefits from video because the know, like, and trust factor is more quickly built up and is more easily reinforced if you're on video, more so than with a podcast. The very last issue that I have with podcasts is, let me just ask you, when you download a podcast, when do you listen to it then? What are you usually doing? Usually you're doing something else at the same time you're listening to the podcast, because that's why people listen to podcasts, right? To have something to listen to while they're doing something else. Well, that's shredding your attention, okay? If they're cooking or they're checking their email or doing something else while they're listening to the podcast, you're only getting a little bit of their attention. Versus if they sit down and watch a video, even if they don't watch all of it, they've gotten an impression, like a branding impression that's super important because they've seen your face, you are your brand. They've gotten that right away, much more effectively than with a sound file, an audio, okay? So there is a really smart way, though, to drive traffic to YouTube or to drive traffic to your podcast using YouTube, and I've done a case study on that. You can check out the YouTube channel for that, or if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so I say, if you're thinking about putting the time and the effort into podcasting, why not just do video, and then you've got both of them going for you anyway. And I know part of the reason why you might be wanting to do a podcast is because maybe you don't want to be on camera, and I understand that. It's very common, but it's also not a reason to not do video. We can get past the mindset issues around being on camera. I promise, it's happening every single day. Look at all the people that were thrown onto Zoom meetings that had never shown up on Zoom before in their lives, and all of a sudden that they're on almost daily, right? So you do survive and you do get better, and it's totally possible. So if you need help with that, let me know. All right. Thanks so much. And again, please subscribe. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I can do some fun things with the YouTube channel. So I'd really appreciate it. Bye.